What's up, it's your boy FIGUZ, Money Man Entertainment in the building. You're now tuned in, Toolit Promotions. Let's go. We had West Texas to be exact. Texas boys in the building, you know. I mean, it's average growing up, other than some basic little things, but you know, family time was good. It was real important. Broke your knee, broke your shit. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, getting in trouble. I think that was the biggest thing out there. It was a smaller city then. It's grown a lot, but in small cities, it's hard to find things to do. So you turn to look into other ways. You know. I mean, I got some bad little stuff, but it's all family. You know, family personal stuff. My dad was alcoholic growing up. Different things like that. There was some addiction issues and different types of stuff like that that came along whenever we got a little older that I myself got into. So there was some struggle there in my early teens. A lot of going in and out of jail, and you know, graduating and going into jail and in and out of stuff. So there's a lot of that for me, anyways, growing up. It was, man. It was a very persevering type of story, I guess you would say. You know, every time you fail, you got up. That's just what I learned along the way. You know, people are gonna be mad at you. People are gonna be disappointed, but the loved ones really do care. You know, so it's something to take appreciation of. I think now that I'm, you know, getting older and stuff.
Okay, so how did you get started into the music?
I got started in the music. I always loved music, so you know, growing up, I did a lot of band. We did a lot of different types of jazz band, played instruments, and I listened to a lot of hip hop. Listened to a lot of music, Hispanic lifestyle. So I listened a lot of, you know, from my parents, listened to a lot of Latino music as well. And what got me into music, I say per se, was I used to do a lot of poetry and write and stuff. And eventually, I noticed, you know, that could be turned into raps. And I had a buddy right around junior high, you know, going into junior high, who showed me a tape of him actually recorded himself. And I was like, man, how did you do that? So he kind of gave me a little tip on it. And next thing I know, I was at my crib and I had kind of a similar setup that I kind of pulled off from my mom in her back room. I took her little, you know, radio and all that, and I linked it up and I wired it up and I recorded myself freestyling. And I took it to homie. And he was like, man, it's your first time ever doing that? I said, yeah. He's like, shit, let's go. So then he invited me over and we started homeboy K Jones, you know, shout out K Jones. And we started recording from then and there, kind of had our own little thing. And we ended up doing our thing, man, through whole junior high. We were selling, you know, music, and we were doing little shows, pep rallies, and you know, it was fun from the very beginning. So I think that's the thing that always got me with music. Like we never got told anything bad. It was never a dull moment. Like it was always like, man, and it always just felt like that moment every single time. So that's always something that inspired me to keep going for it, you know.
You know, that's dope. So what would you say is your most popular song?
Most popular right now, I would say for me, Survival is one I got off my latest EP, The Sweet. It's on all platforms right now. I recently shot the video in Washington, D.C. Shout out my boy Terrence Thompson out of D.C. He shot the video for me, but that's on YouTube and it's all on platform. I think that's the most, the one that people are really rocking with right now. It's the end track to our set, and that's the one people are really rocking on as far as on the FIGUZ side. Money Man Entertainment side, they've been rocking with a few. We have one that's with Peso, a Texas artist that's been really popping. We shot a video with him and stuff, and we had that going, and you know, so that one people are really checking out that one. I go by FIGUZ, FIGUZ. Long story short, I guess it used to be J Money, right? And then my homie called me that because he used to call me Jay, my homie Kendrick, who got me into music or whatever. Because I used to have a tagging name because I also did graffiti or whatever, and it was like Chaos. And that's kind of what I went as. But he was like, we need to get you a rapping name. So we didn't really give it any thought, but I got a little job and I would always have a little cash and this and that. And he was like, Jay, you always got money. I'm gonna call you J Money. So right, so we went into that, and that was my name for a minute, man. And then I don't know if you ever remember Cadillac Dawn and J Money came out with a song called Peanut Butter something about the cars or whatever. So when that came out, I was like, man, and that was all like BET, I was everywhere. So I was like, man, I gotta change my name, you know, like he beat me to it, I guess you would say is how it felt. So, and then I dropped it to J FIGUZ because FIGUZ is another term for money, you know, figures, you know. Had enough money and figures, whatever. So, and then as time went by, I dropped the J, and it just stayed FIGUZ.
What's your thoughts on Albuquerque scene?
I mean, it seemed like it was a good scene last night. I haven't really been out here enough to see what's going on, but whenever I first went out, because every city we go to, you know, I kind of look at who's out there as far as studio, as far as videography, as far as, you know, artists, and I couldn't really find too much. I don't know, maybe I was looking in the wrong area or whatever. I found a couple, and I was able to reach out to them, and they reached back to me, and it seems like once I got out here, they introduced me to more people, and it seemed like it was a lot bigger than I anticipated it to be. I really it's every city I go to, I find the community for underground music to be a little different. You know, it's always a different vibe. You never really know, like, if it's gonna be good, if it's gonna be bad. Some people like, some people don't, but it's always very supportive. I will say that. But when I came out here, like I said, when I looked it up, I couldn't really find too much. But when I came out, I noticed that there is a lot of people. They're just closer together, and they're kind of they're keeping it growing from the inside. Yeah, I mean, I think Houston and Dallas are starting to become like the New York and Cali, man, from what I've been noticing and from what I've been seeing and people have been telling me. I mean, we've been in Texas, West Texas for a minute, and we've been out in Dallas and Houston for a while, and a lot of people are starting to move out to Houston. A lot of people are starting to come out of Dallas, big artists. A lot of people big artists are starting to come out of Houston. I feel like it's starting to get like another turn, you know what I mean? Like, because everybody kind of goes through their phases with the hip hop thing, and all the music goes through its styles. And I think now everybody's looking at Texas again with like the OTs and the D Babies and all these and the Pesos, you know, these sauce walkers. And I think that they're putting a lot of eyes on it again, and people, it's starting to kind of trend in that way. My outlook on business is just soak up what you can, man. There's so many outlets and so many places right now that people can go to look things up and learn how to start LLCs and learn how to, you know, get contracts and file paperwork. And there's so much stuff out there. I would say, like, focus on that part in a sense, because once something does take off or once something does happen, you know, you want to be able to really make that opportunity and seize it and take advantage of it. And if you don't got that business side right, you know, it could really mess up that big moment for you in a sense. So I would just say focus on your business, man. It's all about the money side. It's all about the business side.
You got any like trending tips or specific strategies you be using recently or just in general?
I wouldn't say I got any specific strategies. I just really, I move around, you know. I know that it's just a basic thing to say, but I move around. I network. I try to go out of state. I try to go to different places. I try to put my face and my name and the MME brand in places where, you know, just staying in town isn't gonna get for me, you know. And it took a little while, you know. I did a lot of stuff in town. I feel like I took over my town in a sense. The MME did. We started doing shows there. We did a bunch of different things there. We started bringing people there. Every club there, we hit up and we rocked every one of them. We did shows at every one of them. We like, you know, so I feel like it was time to kind of get out of that phase. You know, the budgeting and the money side is the part that the business comes in. And you kind of got to be able to learn how to put those ducks in line to get you to that next step. You know, it's all about goals. It's all about planning in a sense. Like, first the thing was to record music, then the thing was to get the music out, then the thing was to make the music pop somewhere, or the thing was to get the show somewhere. Then from there it was to throw a show, you know, not just get a show. It was to make, you know, so like everything's kind of a step taken process in a sense, and you kind of got to know where you want to go with it. Sometimes we get lost in just making the music, and sometimes we get lost in just getting our stuff out there, but it's one of those things where it's a process. I believe in aliens. I don't know, man. I believe in the possibility of endless possibilities, I guess you would say. We don't really know what's out there until you've seen it. I haven't seen anything. I do believe in God. There's no question on that, you know. But there's stuff out there we don't know about, you know. I do think that. Favorite food, man, I don't know. I'm not real too picky. Anything my wife makes, I don't have one, man. Like, it's not really that important to me, man. I like to grill, I guess you would say, if there's anything like, you know, some weird steak, you know, nice little medium rare, medium steak. Throw some burgers and shit on the grill. Like, that's the type of shit we do in the summer. Got the barbecue out. Like, so I don't really have a specific food. Like, I'm not picky.
So you got any words of encouragement?
I don't know, man. It's cliche, but everything I've seen, I study. Like, I just study. I try to watch interviews. I try to watch people who have made it. I try to, you know, don't listen to people who haven't done anything is kind of my advice. A lot of people are going to tell you don't do this or don't do that or don't try this or don't try that, or ways to do things, but look at their position and really, you know, understand where they're coming from. Like, don't get advice from somebody who's in a bad relationship on relationship advice, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Don't take business advice from somebody who doesn't have business, you know? So learn who to learn from and learn who to listen to, because everybody's talking, you know, everybody's talking. It's just learning really what to take and what to decipher. So, you know, that's something I would say.
So how'd you hear about Tulip Promotions?
I looked them up. I was on Instagram. I was doing my little research on different places. It was along the tour line. Albuquerque was one of them, and Tulip popped up. I reached out, and they hit me back, and it was history after that. Just the whole team, Money Man Entertainment, you know, the people who ride with us, Ease, and the D-Flow, and shout out my boys, Free Rhino, Free Young Zay, you know what I'm saying, Free Zay and shit like that, you know. Shout out everybody who believes, shout out the wifey, shout out the family who back home waiting for us, who really held it down, you know. Everybody who buying shirts on the tour, appreciate y'all, y'all tag us, y'all shout us out, moneymanentertainment.com, it goes down, you know. I think most music is an emotion that in a physical form, right? Because it's an emotion. It's how music starts to me. Like that beat, whenever I do produce, it comes from an emotion. So whatever it ends up becoming, to me, music is an emotion captured in the capture. Hey, moneymanentertainment.com. Y'all know what it is. Too Lit Promotions. Y'all check us out. Y'all fuck with us. We out here. New Mexico, Albuquerque. It's love.